What's up, YouTube? My name is Justin, this is the Den of Nerds, and we have got some sweet Injustice 2 news for you today. DC Comics went and held a live stream event for Injustice 2 at 10 a.m. Pacific time on 4/28. And I went ahead and watched the whole thing and summarized all of the new news and info we got from it, so you do not have to. And believe me, you should be kind of glad that you don't have to. So, most importantly, first and foremost on the live stream, we had a new character revealed, the Joker. Now, the Joker's reveal, honestly, isn't that much of a surprise at this point. We ended up having the Joker revealed indirectly through a leak of the achievements list, and then some gameplay footage after that leaked out. But we did get our first official look at the Joker, and a trailer was immediately released right after that of him. He has a ton of different abilities. He throws his canisters of Joker gas at the opponent. He uses a bunch of knives and crowbars. He has this really sweet looking running crowbar move where he can just charge his opponent and he can take a hit on that charge, so he can just get in there and just start beating his opponent relentlessly with it. He even has a joy buzzer counter and a brand new look that a lot of people are kind of divided on. At least that's what I saw from the live stream comments. He's kind of got this slick to one side hair, and he's got this open jacket showing his chest with "Ha" written on it in like big red. It's a lot of people say it's kind of edgy, kind of reminiscent of the Leto Joker. I'm pretty alright with the design. It's Joker. Joker's gonna look weird. Joker's gonna be the final character that they are going to reveal before release. He's going to get his own stage, Joker's Playground, which we saw in the live stream and looks really, really creepy. There's a carousel with like dead bodies swinging around it, and it's just this derelict amusement park straight out of a horror film. He has this special character power that they talked about where he's allowed to add Haas to a little meter he has right next to his super meter. When all three are full, Joker moves a lot faster than he does when that meter's not full. We didn't get to see any of the special gear that I'm going to be talking about later, since all of the characters end up getting gear for the Joker today, but it seems like from a couple of little things that were said during the live stream that, and from the description of the trailer that they released today, that they are implying that the Joker was not killed by Superman in the original Injustice, which would just be a crazy out of left field twist. I don't know how you guys would feel about that. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Joker not actually dying in the original Injustice. Right after that, we had a developer show up on the screen to talk about the game. He talked about how gameplay is overall going to be a lot faster than it was before. We're going to be seeing a much speedier game with Injustice 2, with a lot of sort of quicker combos, even from the larger, bulkier sort of characters, which I'm honestly pretty excited about that. It always seemed like Injustice 1 was kind of a slower Mortal Kombat, so I'm really glad that they're going to tighten up that gameplay and give us a much faster paced, much more frantic fighting game out of that. We did have Scott Porter, the voice of Robin, show up on the show, and they showed the Damian Wayne Robin trailer shown. The only little bit of story tidbit he dropped about Damian Wayne was that he will make a fatal decision in the game that will put Robin at odds with Batman. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a reference to the fatal decision Damian Wayne already made in the previous Injustice, or if Batman will have forgiven him and there's just going to be something new that ends up putting Damian and Batman at odds again. They had a couple of other guests on the show. Echo Kellum, who played Mr. Terrific from Arrow, was there. We had Jessica Chobot from The Nerdist, Malcolm Goodwin from iZombie, and Chloe Dijkstra, host at Machinima. They ended up playing in a tournament together in sort of this giveaway, and the tournament really kind of seemed like a waste of time, and it took up most of the live stream. We did get to see a couple of bits of footage from a bunch of other characters, but unfortunately, because the players were fairly inexperienced, and this doesn't have to do with the fact that these were just brand new characters in the game, that it just seemed like they didn't have that basic fighting game experience to show us off really how far we can push Injustice's system. And the whole tournament as a whole just, it honestly wasn't really that entertaining to watch, and I basically ended up staying hooked on it for the end. So that is the main reason that I'm happy I am doing this for you guys, so that you don't have to watch that. During the tournament, there was actually some instances where players were hitting the button for the debug screen of the game, and it just ended up completely breaking the game, and they had to completely reset the game on PlayStation 4, and it was just a mess. It was an absolute mess. Um, Another preview we got was for the Injustice 2 mobile game. It's going to come out on May 11th. They changed up the combat to allow movement and combos, which was likely inspired by the current Marvel mobile game you can get on the market. Clash of Champions, I think it's called. That's doing very well. You can actually go and pre-register to start playing the mobile game now, and they'll give you a special Catwoman when you download. Most importantly, though, you can link the mobile game and the console game together once Injustice 2 comes out for consoles, and that will get you a sweet skin for Cyborg. So I'm definitely going to be downloading the mobile game at the very least just to get that Cyborg skin. It might be gear that ends up giving him some sort of bonuses, so that definitely seems worth my time. On top of that, we did have someone mention during the aforementioned tournament that Shazam will not be in the game, which makes sense considering how the story of Injustice 1 went. But there is not going to be any Shazam, we're only going to be getting Black Adam, and they could not show any gameplay today of Reverse Flash or Mr. Freeze. After the tournament concluded, we had writer Tom Taylor from the Injustice 2 comic series just basically show up to give us a little play-by-play of what's happening in the Injustice 2 comic series that bridges the gap between the first two games. Just gave us a quick little story summary. I'm not really going to go into that because I didn't really think it was that big a deal for the game, and I don't want to give any spoilers. I'd much rather you guys just go and read the Injustice 2 comic series yourself. I haven't read it yet, but if it's as good as the Injustice 1 comic series, I should probably get on that. They showed tons of costumes and gear in a short little trailer closing to the end of the stream. We learned that characters are going to level up as well and get new abilities and get increases to their base stats to have characters deal more damage. So if you really like playing Catwoman or something like that, go ahead and play a bunch of Catwoman because your Catwoman is only going to get stronger the more you play her. We had a bunch of neat little costumes revealed for all of the different characters. Most notably, that I'm most excited for, Red Sun Superman will be a costume you can go ahead and get in the game. On top of that, characters are going to get bonuses for their full gear sets, and you can end up creating a neat little color palette for your character as well to make your costume look like it really comes together, really ends up fitting together as one specific set for gear. There's going to be slots for your characters, including the head, chest, arms, legs, and special items such as different guns for Deadshot and different tridents for Aquaman. So there's really a bunch of pieces you'll be able to mix and match together, giving you a bunch of different stats, truly allowing you to customize your Injustice 2 fighter the way you want to. It seems like a very, very interesting system for them to be including in a fighting game. The only real things that I'm kind of concerned about are them striking a good balance with the gear system and making sure certain types of gear don't end up being a lot more powerful than other types of gear. But I guess that's really only something we're going to figure out when the game comes out. I'm also hoping they don't throw microtransactions at us and say give us a bigger opportunity to earn credits or bigger opportunities to get gear through an in-game cash shop. I would much rather all of the gear you earn be completely and utterly restricted to playing the game. I feel like that's the most fair way and the best way for us to get a really solid gear experience out of Injustice 2. After they showed the gear off, we had some Darkseid gameplay revealed. He looks incredibly powerful and imposing, his whole fighting style with his hands behind his back, just showing off that classic Darkseid arrogance, that Darkseid dominance. They had Ed Boon from NetherRealm going over his kit. You may remember Ed from his work on the Mortal Kombat games. Darkseid uses his eye beams a ton in the trailer, and Ed Boon confirms that he is a zoner character. So Darkseid is going to be all about keeping your opponent in one certain place on the screen and making sure you keep them at an arm's length at all times so you can continue attacking them with Darkseid's eye beams. Kind of strange considering how bulky of a character Darkseid is, but I mean, I'll give it a shot. Him as a zoner, absolutely. His eye beams look very, very unpredictable, and I feel like that unpredictability is going to definitely make Darkseid a very powerful character, previous comic book presence notwithstanding. And then at the very, very end of the stream, Ed Boon talked about DLC characters, and he said that there are 9 DLC characters planned for Injustice 2. And probably most importantly to me, he teased the idea of guest characters. And we all know that Mortal Kombat ended up doing a lot with its guest characters. We got Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Alien, and Predator. So I'm wondering who they'll be able to pull out for Injustice 2. Will they end up showing us maybe, will we get Scorpion and Sub-Zero, some characters from Mortal Kombat? Or are they going to end up maybe finding some other superhero icons from independent comics or something of that nature to throw into Injustice 2's cast? Let me know below in the comments what guest characters you guys would like to see in Injustice, because I'm really, really interested for what you might think would be a really good character to throw in and go toe-to-toe with Batman or Superman. And that pretty much sums up our coverage of the Injustice 2 live stream event. Injustice 2 is going to be coming out on May 16th, as NetherRealm was saying throughout the entire live stream. If you pre-order it, you can play Darkseid from day one. You'll probably have to wait if you don't do that. So you may just have to suck it up and do it if you want to play as Darkseid day one. We will be covering Injustice 2 extensively, probably showing some gameplay, definitely doing a review for it, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to be looking over the characters too, just tons of Injustice 2 content planned that we really, really are excited to show off to you guys. If you like this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more news like this, go ahead and leave me a comment. And if you guys are super stoked about gaming being on the Den of Nerds, please check out a couple of our gaming videos that we have already put up. We've got a Mass Effect Andromeda review we just threw up. We've got a Persona 5 review coming up along with the Injustice 2 review. So go ahead, hit us up, show us some love. As we always say here at the Den, I hope you're all having an awesome and nerdy day, and I'll catch you later.